We went from virtually zero in wind power in about 98, and today we are the fifth largest producer of wind energy. We have a total production of about total capacity of about 22 gigawatts, that is 22,000 megawatts. We have, of course, unlimited supply of sun, unlike Germany. Um, so we have 300 days of sun in most parts of India, and I think for Germany it is maybe. Okay. So even if we can utilize a tiny fraction of our total solar energy, we can meet all our requirements. Now, we put together a very ambitious solar plan recently. The National Solar Mission was put together 2 years back. We've added 2,500 megawatts in the last 2 years. By 2022, we plan to add 22,000 megawatts. Uh, I think we should be able to do it. There are surveys by PricewaterhouseCoopers which actually say that we could go to 60,000 megawatts by 2022. We've similarly made some progress in small hydel and in biogas and biomass, which are the four strands. Now, the government has set impressive targets. We are right now, uh, we have out of our installed capacity, about 10% is coming from renewables. But there are plans. In fact, the target has been set that by 2020 we increase it to 15% of our energy production. Now, what are some of the main constraints? The the wind power is of course contributing quite a bit, but we don't have uh, some of the wind plants were set up 10 years back. Their plant load factor is only about 10 to 12%. So even if I say that we have 20,000 megawatts of installed capacity, they're actually generating only about 2.5 to 3,000 megawatts. So with better engineering, with better equipment, the PLF can go up to 25 to 30%. Now this is where we need to collaborate, and this is an area of cooperation between Germany and India. Now, when you come to solar, uh, Germany had, in fact, helped finance the largest solar power plant in India, which went on road last year. This is a 150 megawatt plant in Maharashtra, where I come from. The plant is fully functional and it is working quite well. Germany is an important provider of solar equipment, but there are many areas in which we can cooperate and collaborate. Now, when it comes to biogas and biomass, we are doing our bit, but we have not been able to come up with very good technology. So I basically don't want to go into too many details, but I would like to make two or three suggestions for cooperation between India and Germany, and this is also valid, I think, for many developing countries. One is you need to work together. Say, German S&T institutions need to work together with their counterparts in developing countries to find solutions which are locally suitable. There's no point having an incinerator, a waste incinerator which produces energy which costs 100 million euro for a city. It will not be affordable. So it has to be an affordable and localized solution, as some of the videos showed. Uh, the second is if we can do modules for disaggregated energy supply. This was mentioned about Africa. It is also applicable to India, where a number of villages don't have electricity. But if you can do a combined solar, wind, biogas plant, which can provide electricity to a village, it can do a lot of wonders. Also, some technology demonstrators, I was quite impressed and touched by the cooking stoves. But a simple project like cooking stoves can actually help improve the standard of life of hundreds of millions of people. So there is no harm, I think, in trying to identify two or three technology demonstrators which can make a big difference. I'll end by saying that I would encourage small and medium enterprises in Germany to look at the renewable energy market in India and developing countries as a good business investment, because there is immense potential for developing products for meeting the technological demands. For instance, India, if we are producing 2000 megawatts of energy from solar, I can assure you that by 2030, we will probably be looking at 100,000 megawatts from solar, if not more. So there are a lot of opportunities, and if it is a business solution, then it will be easy to replicate it, and it will be advantageous to German companies as well as the developing countries. Thank you. The moon, etc., etc. There has traditionally, for various reasons, been a gap between the science and technology institutions in India and the commercialization of their research. I won't get into the details because there are about 10 or 15 reasons. In Germany, the S&T institutions work hand in hand with industry. For instance, the Fraunhofer works very closely with industry in developing products which can be commercially marketed. On the part of industry to go in for imported technology. They somehow still don't have enough faith in domestic technology. So, as the main focus of India has been more on the services sector, while in the manufacturing sector, we are still lagging behind. I mean, we are making some progress, but I'm afraid that we still have a long path ahead of us. On a broader level, I would like to take the opportunity to emphasize here that developing countries do not have either the intellectual capacity to tackle many of the issues or the trained manpower, and they also do not have access to affordable technology. I mean, it's fine for all of us to sit here and discuss, but when it actually comes to having access to technology, it is not readily available. We've spoken of renewable energy, including gas, cook stoves, and all. But when you look at the industrial sector, to clean it up and improve energy efficiency, you need to have access to better technology, which is still very expensive and unaffordable for many developing countries.